I should probably turn on the recording. Alright, so hello everyone, this is Krotic giving you game 1 in a best of 5 series between DarkChigo versus EP Valkyrie, Protoss versus Terran here on Terminus SE. This is the finals of a tournament that OptiK puts together every Friday night from 4 p.m. I believe it starts at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. All those East Coast people don't let the West Coast people get off of work in time, so it's always so sad. Anyways, DarkChigo will be playing the green Protoss player. Meanwhile, Valkyrie will be playing the red Terran, and a little bit of an underdog story for DarkChigo. DarkChigo, I did take a look at his profile. He is currently a 2,000 point diamond player, so that is rather high. He is number 1 in his division. The problem is that EP Valkyrie is rank 50 Grandmasters. So DarkChigo, the definite underdog. DarkChigo, a lot of people said that he was lucky to make it into the finals, as there were 5 Grandmaster players and a lot of high-ranked Masters players in this tournament. And he was able to battle his way through, and now this should be a very, very interesting game. So we can see Valkyrie spawning as the red Terran player at the 6 o'clock position. Meanwhile, we have DarkChigo spawning as the green Protoss player at the 12 o'clock position. So this is going to be Terran versus Protoss, and we'll see what exactly Valkyrie tries to go for. If he's going to go for any 2-base timing, or and what exactly DarkChigo will be going for. DarkChigo in the semifinals was able to win in a Protoss versus Protoss mirror match using 4-gate timing. Yeah, so yeah, using 4-gate timing in order to take over in the Protoss versus Protoss mirror match, and then also using some Dark Templars if you guys weren't able to watch that matchup as well. Probe now making its way out and will be scouting in first the clockwise direction, quickly not seeing anything here, and then making his way out off to the south once again. We are going to be getting a barracks being built a little bit further away. A little bit interesting about that is that he will be able to set up a bunker here just in case there is any pressure. Let's not all in each other. Apparently, that's Valkyrie saying let's not all in each other. So we may have a little bit longer of a macro game. I don't know all in. Okay, so they're not going to be all in each other, it appears. But we'll see what will be happening as Valkyrie now going for that standard refinery play, and we'll see whether or not Chigo has any other strategies besides 4-gate. That's only what I've seen him pull off and execute so far, as the probe now comes in, gets some damage onto this one SCV, and now a Marine finally being trained up. It looks like the probe just wants to get some more damage onto a supply depot, needs to take a quick look around, take a look and see what is happening inside the base, sees one refinery. The second Vespene Geyser is still refinery-less at this stage, as the supply depot now being added. A Marine going to be able to finish off this one probe rather easily, as the Marine able to cut corners a little bit better, and the probe just dancing around back and forth, causing a little bit of an annoyance for that Marine. It looks like the probe is going to be able to recharge those shields, and now just continue to move along its merry way, getting a little more damage, and now going to get some damage there, and now a tech lab was added, and now a Marauder being added. So very interesting, not training up a second Marine, and that probe able to escape as a second barracks now being placed down. SCV already on the move, will be able to walk up that ramp in just a moment and take a look around, sees the Cybernetics core. There is a lot of energy on the Nexus, which is a telltale sign that it is in fact going to be some 4-gate pressure in just a moment, trying to get off 4 chrono boosts onto that Cybernetics core, which means around the 6-minute mark, or 6-minute 30-second mark now, I believe is how it works, is when we'll see that early aggression. There's one chrono boost already. There's that second chrono boost now coming into play. It may be a full 4 more, or maybe even 5 chrono boosts onto this one Cybernetics core to really crank out that warp gate research. A Nexus, however, also being added as well, and the Stalker getting some easy damage there. And I'm not sure, but by chrono boosting this so much, he may make it look like he was trying to go for a 4-gate, but instead putting up a Nexus right behind it and now turning this into a much more macro play. But the Marauders and one Marine will be doing some scouting as well. So 3 Marauders doing a bit of a push, and DarkChigo with only 1 Stalker and 1 Zealot may not be able to counter this all too well. It is going to delay. That Nexus may absorb a bit of damage as the Marauders are now coming in. The Marauders do not have concussive shell though, so that is a bit of a lucky break there as the Marauders are now going after that Nexus. The Nexus will take a little bit of damage before it gets canceled. The Zealot up on that high ground. Probes now coming in as well. Not quite sure what the probes are going to try to engage and try to save that very, very precious Nexus and all the time that was currently built into it. The Zealot and the probes getting in some damage there already. The Marauders quickly going to shut down that Stalker, and the Marauders just continuing to walk back and forth. It looks like the Marauders now once again will be retreating, but the Warp Gate tech has been completed, and those Stalkers will be able to engage in just a moment. And I believe Valkyrie will be forced to turn around, but DarkChigo playing very, very well. But we also see Valkyrie playing very, very well. So, what, 4 probes, 3 Stalkers, and a Zealot, both sides engaging. And give it to DarkChigo. DarkChigo with that economic advantage now. All he has to really do is fend off the Marauders. And the Stalkers do come out much more quickly. It looks like that Twilight Council was cancelled. Chrono boosting the Warp Gates in order to increase the decrease the cooldown. And now you can see more units are now still being trained. It looks like he chrono boosted, but now he still doesn't have enough resources to really train up any additional units as the Marauders come back once more. Zealot's going to engage. The Marauders do have that slow concussive shell, which is very, very important. And now the Marauders just eating through this army very, very easily. Army combinations about even, just a slight advantage, but there's that Guardian Shield now absorbing some of that damage. The Stalker's getting in some damage as well, as it looks like a Marauder will get taken down. The Zealots going after, and Valkyrie may have overextended himself. Another Marine getting taken down as more Marauders are engaging. The Stalkers are still continuing the push, trying to get more damage. There's a force field as another Marauder going to get taken down, and now finally a little bit of a retreat. That Marauder going to be able to finish off that Zealot. And now we are going to get another round of fresh Zealots, another round of fresh meat to act as a meat shield. DarkChigo really needs to continue up with his probe production, though. He's sitting on a fair amount of minerals, 200 minerals. Now it's finally training up even more probes. Sentry's getting in more damage as well. The Marines now getting in more damage, and the Zealots just trying to go after those Marauders. The Marauders are really, with that concussive shell, dealing so much damage. But Valkyrie, I believe, has overextended himself and will not be able to return home with two Marauders, maybe one more. Oh, the 2 of them actually switching places just a little bit, and that was a little bit of a help there. Valkyrie now going to lose 1 Marauder. Will this Marauder get taken down? It looks like it will, and a very nice counter pressure tactic by DarkChigo with a proxy pylon already in place. DarkChigo already ready. He may be able to get up 2 additional gateways and 6 gate pressure his opponent. I don't see any Marauders. This is a lot. Sorry, I don't see any additional gateways warped in. I see a lot of Marauders and Marines, but no stim pack. And taking a look at the overall harvester count, 33 probes versus 33 SCVs, and we should be getting in some more units now there. In comes this engagement. Now the Stalkers and Zealots are trying to engage. The Zealots are a bit slow. There's the force field on the ramp, stopping the reinforcements, and now the Stalkers are, could have dealt more damage against those SCVs, deciding not to. And we need to see if we are going to get any additional force fields or sentries into play. We are going into that forge, an additional gateway as well. We are currently supply blocked. DarkChigo unable to warp in any additional units, even though he does have the cooldown ready, and now going to shut down the Stalkers and shut down some of those units. Another Stalker will get picked apart there. Both sides with pretty even battle so far, as Valkyrie doing his very best. It looks like he was trying to finish the game off early, but DarkChigo playing very, very impressively, I must say, and being able to fend off this attack. It looks like DarkChigo, the longer this game goes, he does have, I believe, a forge up, now getting that Guardian Shield and also getting charge for those Zealots. And what I thought was going to be a very, very fast game is turning out to be a very, very intense battle as the Zealots overextend themselves, and down they go. A lot of losses there, and it looks like it will be a tactical retreat. DarkChigo now retreating, knowing that he cannot stick around in this fight for very much longer. There were double engineering bays that I saw being built. Yes, level 1 weapons and armor upgrades coming in. My daughter getting so excited for StarCraft 2 in the background as the Zealots now returning home, telling about how they almost broke through that front door. The Stalkers have now finally reached there, as there is one proxy pylon here. Now the factory is up and running. It most likely will add on a starport and also get, add on a reactor and then build a starport right behind it, as Valkyrie going into that Marine Marauder bioplay. And now we're seeing a response with a Dark Shrine. I don't know if I quite agree with the Dark Shrine. The Dark Shrine doesn't work out as well against Terran players, especially if they have 2 orbital commands, as Valkyrie does. We can see that he will be able to sit or get a decent amount of scans off as well. I believe Colossi or High Templars would be the better choice as medevacs, as you have already seen a lot of Marines and Marauders, and you want to be able to counter that. Level 1 armor upgrades about to be completed. Level 1 armor upgrades on both sides about to be completed, as the Xel'Naga towers are now being activated and in retreat. 3,000 minerals versus 2725. The Dark Templar or the Dark Shrine about 7 or 30 seconds away from being completed there, as the Marauders and the Marines are once again just pushing out. There is this one proxy pylon here, and you got to be careful. DarkChigo in the previous matches was able to warp in a couple Dark Templars or a couple Zealots and then run them straight into the base. A couple Dark Templars straight in the mineral line would wreak absolute havoc. As we can see now, a decent amount of gas currently sat on by DarkChigo, and there we go. Those are those 2 Dark Templars trying to balance out the rest. Will they be spotted is the key question. The Dark Templars now walking around. It looks like the Dark Templars are spotted. He can see a little bit of that flicker, and now a missile turret is being added as the Dark Templar going straight for a mule. 1 mule now down, going for another mule. Now going after, he sees the Ghost Academy, and now going after the SCV. The SCV does have level 1 armor upgrade, so it does take 2 shots. Very, very lucky there, as that Dark Templar just stopping the mining here. So even though this Dark Templar is not getting that many kills, it is getting a decent amount of damage done by preventing those SCVs from being able to mine, and also taking down a couple of those key mules as well. 2 new Dark Templars now being added, but with a missile turret now at that front door. Yeah, missile turret. 1 missile turret shuts down 1 Dark Templar very, very easily. And now Valkyrie going in for the famous Terran double drop, as there are now Zealots being added as well. We are going into that Psy Storm. I really wish that he had gotten that Templar Archives a little bit earlier. We are now going into those, the 3 High Templars, as well as the medevacs are now making their way out. You can see the medevacs are going to be able to drop here and here all at the same time, but there are some photon cannons, so a little bit of base defense may be enough to fend off this attack, as this medevac may be flying in, and is it going to be spotted in time? There is 1 photon cannon in position, a 2nd photon cannon right behind it. The Marines do have level 1 weapons and armor upgrades, so will it be enough is a key question here, as the drop now happening in 2 locations at once. And now it is spotted over here, so we are going to see a couple Zealots now make their way over. The Zealots do have charge, and the Zealots are not going to be able to push back those units there, as now the Marines trying to walk in, and they are going to get destroyed here by a couple of those photon cannons as well. A main battle in the front, and Valkyrie, I do not think, was really ready for this, as the Zealots are now simply charging in. The Stalkers do not have blink. There are some force fields as the Marauders. Oh my gosh, absolutely beautiful Psy Storms shutting down many of those Marauders, and now that is just going to be an absolute perfect exchange by Chigo. So Chigo making this look absolutely easy. Very, very well played. Valkyrie now coming back in with Marines. The Marines are upgraded 1-1, going to come back in. Stim, there is 1 photon cannon just outside of combat range. Down goes 1 Templar as well. The probes not even bothering to fight back, as down goes that 1 photon cannon. The Zealots now quickly coming in, perhaps going to get some damage. The Zealots were charging, but unable to catch up with that medevac, even though the medevac does fly slower. It looks like the Dark Templar has taken down these destructible rocks. Does Valkyrie know? Yes, Valkyrie does know that those rocks have been destroyed. He may run in with a couple Dark Templars along this backside here as a medevac once again tries to push in. There is one Dark Templar, or sorry, one Photon Cannon, a second Photon Cannon once again being warped in. Only 6 Marines this time around. And that High Templar may be able to get off a feedback onto that medevac. If it does, those Marines are not going to have much life to them, and we are now almost 20 minutes into this game. There is also another medevac sitting off over here, and the SCV still has not spotted this one proxy pylon. The Marines and the Marauders finishing off that Dark Templar, as this game has been going on for quite some time. There's the feedback onto the medevac. It looks like the Photon Cannon doing its job. A Psystorm, the Marines now trying to push their way in. The Marines not going to be, perhaps going to be able to finish off a Dark Templar. Yes, able to do so, but really losing out. Taking a look at the overall Harvester count, 50 versus 55. Another command center now being taken up by Valkyrie, or double expanding. And if you cannot win with what the Marines and the Marauders, just try to beat your opponent with a stronger economy and replenish them faster. 6 warp gates, 8 warp gates now coming online. The Templar Archives, Dark Shrine over here, one Dark Templar acting as a bit of a defense, as we are now seeing a probe trying to set up a nexus, and I believe this is where Valkyrie really can take the advantage now. He is double expanding and perhaps trying to contain his opponent. There are a couple Archons in the group. The Zealots do have charge. The Zealots are upgraded 1-2, as the Marauders are upgraded 2-2. Psystorm now quickly coming in, and there's a feedback once more. EMP Shockwave hitting a couple of those Zealots, but the Zealots are able to charge in after those units rather quickly. No force fields yet, and the units are still chasing. Down goes another Ghost there, but the Archons still have a plenty of energy and life to them. So same thing with those High Templars. Those High Templars will have enough energy for a Psystorm in just a moment, and battling it out still. There's a feedback and shutting down the medevacs, and the units are still running for their lives. This is not looking good, but we may be getting a drop here. There are 3 Photon Cannons though, so those Photon Cannons should be able to deal some damage, as the major army is over here. Dark Templar should be running down into this location. That is going to be a very sad day, as 2 Photon Cannons are now down. Probes are being transferred into a location where they do not want to be, and the Dark Templars are simply running rampant through the base. I believe this orbital command will get taken down. It looks like the orbital command flying in the wrong direction. No, perhaps trying to establish another base in a separate location. It looks like the orbital command will burn to a crisp, as the probes, the Dark Templars now slicing their way, finishing off the rest of the units, doing a great job. And now those medevacs are once again in retreat. The SCV is now transferring over to this side. It is a planetary fortress on the low ground, a curious location, as it only has 5 mineral patches. And there are just so many Archons. Archons are now upgraded 2-2. A stronger gas army and a stronger mineral army by far from the Protoss player. But this is too well of a fortified position. Guardian Shield now coming in as well. Zealots now charging in. Psystorm. Oh, the Marauders just getting absolutely eaten up. And Valkyrie getting destroyed. DarkChigo doing a great job with these Archons here, and it looks like this base will fall as well. And the Archons are trying to be merged in the middle of the battlefield. Marauders, and now in come the Archons. The Archons can walk up that ramp. It looks like this orbital command will get taken down. The Archons should be going after SCVs instead of those production buildings, as this is just a very curious trade. Now double expanding as well here and here, but the game is not going in any direction that I thought. DarkChigo now finishing off that Ghost Academy as well, and this is just a crazy game. You can see more units are once again being warped in. A lot of High Templars, 6 High Templars now being warped in. A planetary fortress off over here with no Colossi. Those planetary fortresses are going to be essentially impossible to break. Zealots now finishing off this location. It looks like the Archons are now down over here, and it looks like they may be able to engage coming down the ramp. The Zealots are charging back up. The Archon's going to get some decent splash damage there. The High Templars may have enough for a Psystorm, which will be a very painful day for all of those Archons. Once more, a Dark Templar now perhaps going to run up onto that high ground, but quickly revealed by a missile turret. And now the Dark Templars are just, the Zealots now simply walking in. There's the Psystorm. All the Marauders are being forced to move. Archon still pushing in. So much splash damage. More Zealots pushing in from behind. Another round of Psystorm as Valkyrie is being pushed up and now being forced to fight inside his own base. This is not looking good at all. The Archons are finishing off the base. I believe Valkyrie is going to lose a lot of his own production buildings here. And there's the GG.